Today's well, not back, but welcome to today's video. And today we're talking about similar topic to what we were talking about yesterday, because I think it's really important. Mental health is such a big issue. I feel like I've lost two family members to it. So out of our extended family, we've had two family members who've been going through some issues, and it's really hard. So I know my wife is a psychologist and this is higher territory, but I'm going to jump in and talk about something psychological. And in yesterday's live chat we talked about anxiety, because anxiety is something that a lot of people experience, so it's going to be important to address that. Babaji, hope you're doing well. Jasdeep, my brother, hope you're doing well. And if you guys can hear me, then just press one of the emojis. Amo, good to see you. Helene, Vic, good to see you. So yeah, if you can hear me, give me a smiley face or a heart. And then Devinder, good to see you. Devinder's one of our team, so definitely go over and follow him. I was thinking about today, I need to post a little bio about him, because he's got a lot of talent. He's definitely an asset, and he's going to help a lot of people. But awesome, I think you guys can hear me. So talking about anxiety, there's a book I talked about yesterday called The Lost Connection, and it's all about the 7 things based on evidence that can help people with anxiety and depression. One of the things was connection to nature, so that's a really easy one. And I'm in Leicester at the moment actually, and I joked that I saw a tree the whole time I was here, and I'm sure there's some nice places on the way to Leicester, but where we were in Leicester, it wasn't that natural, let's say. I had somebody shout at me in the street, and then what else did I see? I saw a rat, but that wasn't actually in Leicester, that was on services on the way. So it didn't make me kind of that enthusiastic about the area that I was in. So not to label the whole town with a kind of a bad name, but just that area. So basically, back to the point, connection with nature is really going to help people with anxiety and depression. There's research behind it. You don't have to go and hug trees. You can just go and go for like a 10-20 minute walk. And I think it's great for relationships as well. Like when me and Darshan were walking, we were going for a walk in the evenings, and when we had a dog, we'd do it every evening. It really helped relationship wise. But it's going to get me to one of the other points, so stick around for that other point, which is really important. The next thing was about social connections. Now, social connections, I talked about how relationships are more a better predictor, or your quality of relationships are a better predictor of your happiness than money or any other predictor. So the quality of relationships is really, really important. But it's a bit easy to say that. How do you actually nurture relationships? And a lot of people ask me about producing content around marriage. So there's a couple of things that I'm going to say in the context of marriage, but it applies to any relationship. So one of the first thing is, you guys know I'm big on gratitude journaling. I think it's changed my life. It's really helped me a lot. So I'd recommend that as one tactic. And it's simple. All you do is you just number 1 to 10, and there's 10 things about a person that you are grateful for. So that's one strategy. The other one that I'm trying at the moment, today is day 1, is people in my life like Jazz, Devinder, Jarandish, Bobby, you guys, very special people in my life. I'm actually going to be writing you guys letters just to tell you how grateful I am for you being in my life. Now the reason behind this is because when my brother passed away, and I think this happens when anybody passes away, right? You think, maybe I should have told the person this, or only if I had a chance to tell the person this or that, or if I had known what they were feeling or what their thoughts were about this, or and so I don't want to have that regret. And the gratitude, generally listing things I'm grateful for, has had such a big impact that actually writing letters of gratitude to these people like Jazz, like Rajram, who's always engaging with my content, I appreciate him so much, Devinder, and Jarandish probably. So writing these letters is just going to give me a window of opportunity to actually, before I die, which we're going to do, to just tell these people actually how I feel about them. So that's one thing. Listing, going back to the quality of relationships, you could write the person a letter, you could make a list, and making a list is great because it really makes you see things. When you're married especially, you start seeing things that you don't particularly want to see, like how they always they always move your toothbrush and you can't find your toothbrush. Has anyone ever, let me know in the comment box below if your wife or your husband has ever moved your toothbrush, and you come down and you think, or you go travelling and they put your toothbrush in their suitcase, so when you wake up you can't brush your teeth. Has anyone else got that problem? Is that just me? Hopefully Dashko doesn't watch this video. So Sati waved. I'm going to guess that he has this problem, but he might just be saying hi. Jeevan, hi. I know you don't have this problem. Your husband's way too lovely. But so listing things that you're grateful for can be a massive way of improving the quality of relationships, because it changes your perception, and everything is all about perception in life, right? So it changes your perception of that person, so that will improve your quality of relationships. The other thing is obviously writing the letter. Hairbrush, you lose your hairbrush. Okay, it's not just me. So the other thing is eye contact. So I was reading up on research, and it was talking about child development, and they were saying that it's a bit harsh, but they were looking at socio-economic groups, and they were looking at what you define as poor people, people living below the poverty line. In terms of that varies in different countries, but the poverty line in the UK is obviously going to be different to India. But people in Western countries they were examining, I believe it was the UK. So they were looking at who lives below the poverty line, and then what type of relationship do they have with the kids, and then who is affluent, so who lives in who is in the like top 25 percentile of incomes, household incomes, and then what is the difference between the health and well-being of their children, physically, mentally, emotionally. Now this is like, people say money doesn't buy happiness, and I 100% agree with that, but if you don't have enough money to pay for food, or you maintain good living conditions, then it's definitely going to affect your quality of life and your child's quality of life. So what the research was finding was that in the poorer households, it wasn't so much that they couldn't buy them an iPad or anything like that. It was that they were so busy thinking about money and trying to earn it that they weren't spending enough quality time. And what they found was the key indicator of quality time is actual eye contact. So when you're staring, like I'm staring at you right now, right? So when you're staring at somebody, that would be counted as actually time with them. So why this is important is because I watch Power Rangers with my son, right? And let me know in the comment box below if you watch Power Rangers, so I don't look like a complete weirdo. But my dad used to watch Thunderbirds with me. Anyone else used to watch Thunderbirds, or am I showing my age now? Not Thunderbirds. I don't even mean Thunderbirds. He-Man. Does anyone else, come on, Devinder, somebody tell me they also watched He-Man, right? So my dad, I have very few memories of my dad because he passed away when I was 4. But one of the 2 memories I have of him is me sitting in his lap, and it seemed like he had these giant hands like that. Like, look how big they look, right? And I had my hand in his hand, and that's one of my memories of whenever he used to come home, I'd be like, oh, Dad, let's watch He-Man. So one of the 2 memories I have. So there's, I watch it with my son. I watch Power Rangers with my son because that's what he's into. Doing that, awesome. So yeah, He-Man, if you haven't watched it, you're probably not missing out on much because technology's changed so much. It'd probably seem really strange to children if they watch it nowadays. And the old Batman. Has anyone seen the old Batman when they climb up that wall with the rope? I think we're really showing our age, me and Devinder. But and Guzita, you're not that old, so I don't know how you've seen it. But you're way too young to have watched that. But anyway, so back to the point is that it doesn't count. That time doesn't count. Although he loves it and he's like, can you watch Power Rangers with me? It's actually eye-to-eye contact or face-to-face, without phones, without technology, without cinema, without other distractions, is what they looked at in the study. And they found that the poorer households had less of that, and the richer households had more than that. Now, I'm not saying you should become rich so that your kids will be happier, and I'm not implying that rich people don't have any problems or their kids don't have any problems, but this is a generalization of thousands of families that they looked at, and they found that there's kind of an ideal level that you need in order to be comfortable, and then beyond that it doesn't really matter. But once you've hit that comfortable level, then it's actually about actually quality time with your kids. So I was thinking about that with relationships. So time with my wife is obviously, she's the closest relationship I have. Now, it doesn't really count if we were watching a film together or we were doing other stuff. Although it's relaxing, it's a good, nice way to spend time together. for her especially, I really hope she's not watching this, but for her, it only counts as having time together if there's nobody else there, so it's just me and her, and we're actually having a conversation, and we're actually, so that she counts that as, and we're having a heart to heart, so that's what she counts as time together. So my point behind this whole video is that going back to depression and anxiety, and going back to the two of the 7 things that we know work from an evidence-based standpoint, which is your connection with nature and also your connection with people. If you want to improve your connection with people, it's easy to say, but how do you actually do that? So one of the ways you can imply today is just to make a list of somebody in your life that you want to improve your relationship with, and just list 5 things that you're grateful about them. So with Darshako, I'll say it on this, she's patient with me, she's a good mum, she's a really good cook, I like that we can train together, that's nice, and what's my other 5th thing? She's really smart, and it's nice being married to somebody who's really smart. You can have conversations about things, and so Jandish agrees. Babaji, do you agree with Darshko being really smart, or do you agree with the gratitude journaling? So that's one thing that would, if I did that every day, it would change my relationship with her. It would make me appreciate her more. It would change my interactions with her. And the second thing would be the actual eye contact stuff. So I need to spend time where we're actually spending time, eye to eye contact, or having a conversation. So if you're going for a walk, you probably don't want to be looking eye to eye because you're walking to a lamppost or something. But you still, there's no other distractions, right? It's dedicated time, and that's the same time we want to try and spend with our kids or anybody else that we want to nurture a long healthy relationship with, whether it's our family and all this stuff. If we go back to the other book which I was reviewing the other day called The Good Life Bucket, or How to Live a Good Life, and they say these buckets are constantly getting emptied. So me investing time in my marriage, it might be beneficial for today, but actually I need to do that on a consistent basis in order to maintain that relationship and in order to nurture that relationship. And any relationship that's valuable to you, you're going to have to do the same. So the same rules apply to all of us. None of us are exempt. So does anyone have any questions? Susanna, thanks for joining in. Harinder, Gurdita, Rams, Apple Clinic, Guppy, Hot Bachu, King Monkey on BBC. I didn't watch King Monkey. I'll have to look that one up and then we can have a chat about it. Jaskaran, I'm seeing loads of you joining on this live chat. So this seems like a good time to do a live chat in the middle of the night. Why are you guys sleeping? But okay, so everyone have a good evening. Lovely to have this banter with you guys. Hope you guys found some value in it. If you did, then do share, tell the people about my profile so they can check it out, and we will continue to share valuable content which will help improve, which will help develop us. So me sharing with you helps me develop because it gives me motivation to do it and practice it and talk about it. Talking about it helps me internalize it, and for you, hopefully you get all of that. I spent how many hours today? 7.5 hours listening to an audiobook today. So I'm digesting that content and then summarizing it in order to present you guys with value. So have a great evening. Janandish, lastly, Jasdeep, thanks. You're always so appreciative, Jasdeep, that you would say that even if I talked about like bagels or something completely random. So love you, brother. Next live chat is tomorrow. It'll be daily for as long as I can do it. But we should do one together. Next time I'm in Birmingham, let's do one together. Or next time you're in London. Suma, that's the whole thing. When I read books, I always think, is this actionable? Because if I read a whole book and I think, oh, that was a brilliant book, but there's nothing that I can take away from that as actually I can implement in my life, then for me it's not really a win. But if I read something or hear something and I think, like a podcast, or I don't really listen to podcasts anymore, but if I read or hear something in an audiobook and I think, let me apply this, and then if it works on my life, great, and I'll try and implement it and make it regular. But if it doesn't work, then I can discard it. But you want things that you can try, so try this, see if it works for you. If it does, great. If it improves the quality of your life, that's makes my life worthwhile. Jeevan, pleasure, and we're going to be working a lot more closely together next month. Suma, have a great evening. Gurudita, I can't remember. Thanks for your feedback. And Jandish Babi, gratitude list. DK is awesome. She is awesome, but you are biased. So you guys have this reverse version of bromance. What's that called? sistermance. You guys have got sistermance going on. So hashtag sistermance if you have a sister who you have a sistermance going on with. And have a great night, everyone. See you guys on tomorrow's live chat.